Good morning, class.
Miss Deming, I have a question about the homework yesterday.
Okay, Chase, what problem did you have?
I didn't understand how to use the break-even equation on problem number 4.
Okay, well, can anyone define for me what the break-even point is?
Break-even means that the total cost and the total revenues must equal 0.
Right, so the break-even point, which we'll call B, equals the unit price times the quantity minus unit variable cost times the quantity minus fixed cost. So can someone read the problem for me?
I'll read the question. Alright. Amy owns a boba shop and sells boba drinks. The unit price for the boba's drink is $4.50 and the unit variable is $2. Amy's total fixed cost is $5,000. What is the break-even point?
Thank you. So we know that the unit price is $4.50. The unit variable cost is $2, and our fixed costs are $5,000. Now we just plug these numbers into this equation to solve for the quantity. So we have $4.50 times Q minus $2 times Q minus $5,000. So now we take these two and combine them, so that's $250 Q minus $5,000. This equals 0. Because we're trying to find the break-even point where revenue and expenses are the same, which is 0. 0 profit. So now we add 5,000 to this side and divide by 2.5. Q should be in there. So Q is 2,000 units. We need to sell 2,000 units for us to break even. Does that make sense? Okay, so another thing to keep in mind is you can take this number, multiply it by this number, and that gives you the total sales revenue if you break even. So let's move over here. So we have 2,000 units times $4.50, and that's $9,000. So we would have $9,000 in total revenue at our break-even point.
Ms. Deming, what's the difference between profit unit contribution and contribution margin ratio method?
Good question, Daniel. They all use different variables to find the break-even point, but they're all used to find the break-even point. So no matter what method you're using, you should always end up with the same answer.
Ms. Deming, can you also explain the unit contribution margin and the contribution margin ratio method?
Sure. So for the unit contribution method, just erase this. The formula is a little bit different, and we use different variables. The unit contribution, we'll call that UCM, is the total fixed cost divided by the unit contribution margin. Okay, so what is the next formula for the contribution margin ratio?
It is the total fixed cost and the contribution margin ratio percentage equal to the break-even sales.
Correct. So, contribution margin ratio formula. Ratio formula is the total fixed cost divided by the ratio as a percentage normally. And this will give you the break-even point in money, whereas this is in quantity, in units.
So does that mean that cost variable analysis is based off of these methods, since it's the idea of decision making?
Yes, that's correct.
Then what is the purpose of target profit analysis? Is that part of it?
Yeah, kind of, because it goes with the idea of break even, because target profit analysis basically shows how much the manager can earn to meet the target profit.
I see. Then how do we calculate the target profit analysis? And what is the example of one?
Sure, so for example, we'll use the same numbers from the bubble problem we used before. So, Amy has a target profit of $9,000. So what we do is we set the break-even point equation, set that equal to what we want to make, equal to the target. So that is $4.50, the unit price, times the quantity, minus $2, the variable cost, times the quantity, minus $5,000 in fixed cost, is a $9,000 profit. And we want to figure out how much we have to sell to make $9,000. So that's, just combine these two, minus 5,000 equals 9,000. So 250 Q equals 14,000. And divide 14,000 by 250, you get 5,600. So we need to sell 5,600 units to make $9,000.
Does that mean that Amy will have to make 5,600 units in order to make that target profit?
Correct. So the reason managers and salesmen use the target profit analysis is to determine how much they need to produce and sell in order to meet their monthly or quarterly goals for how much they want to make.
Alright, then what's the difference between the break-even analysis and the cost-profit analysis?
Okay, so in its simplest form, a break-even analysis is a cost volume profit analysis. You're just trying to figure out when your profit is zero in a break-even analysis. So, for example, let me draw out the graph. So let's see. This is our total revenue. And the red line is total cost. The break-even analysis determines this point here. When they equal each other, it means this is the break-even point where profit is zero. And cost volume profit analysis in general can tell you the profit at any point on the graph. So if you're confused, that's how you should look at it.
So what does the middle line represent in that graph?
The blue line is the total revenue line. This measures at what point, this is quantity, and this is price. So this is the rate at which we produce revenue based on quantity and our selling price. And this is the total cost based on quantity and selling price, and where they cross is the break-even point. All right, class, looks like that's all for today. Do your homework, and I'll see you next week.